Hey everybody, it's Heather Nichols here. Um, I was just about to go to bed actually, and I just got inspired to make this video. I was just having a chat with my kids this evening about a lot of different things. They were asking me some really cool questions. We went to a haunted house and a zombie paintball hunt, I guess it was called, for Halloween, which was really fun. And on the way home, they were asking me all kinds of questions. And we were talking about a telecall that Maggie Schlarb and I are doing right now, the How to Get Out of Debt. What is it called? How to Get Out of Debt, Stay Out of Debt, and Live Prosperously book club. And they were asking me about it. And they said to me, they said, so, Mom, if they were like, how many people are on the call? And how many people do you think would be on the call if Gary and Dane were doing it? And hi, Celine. Hi, Gail. Um, and so they're just asking me about this stuff. And I was like, oh, like when Gary and Dane do calls, lots of people come on them. Um, and, um, and they were like, well, do you think more people would be on the call if it was Adam Sandler or Gary and Dane? And I said to them, well, I said, it depends on what the topic was. Gary and Dane, because we were talking about, if you're just joining us, my kid's asking me about a money call. And I said, Gary and Dane have a lot of brilliance with money. And my kids, so this is really what I wanted to share, is they said, well, Adam Sandler has lots of money too, or he's really rich. And I said, but you don't actually know. You don't know if he does have a lot of money. Like, somebody might make a lot of money and spend a lot of money, but it doesn't mean that they have a lot of money. And it just sort of like stopped them in their tracks, and they were like, wait, you know? And it just like, I just was showing them, I wanted to show them really the assumptions that we make so often when it seems that somebody might be wealthy, or, whatever projections you might have about wealth, and what it is to be wealthy, what it's like to be wealthy, to have money and all that. And making a lot of money, creating a lot of money, having a lot of income, spending a lot of money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a lot of money. And having money is a very different energy. And it really is the energy of wealth. And a lot of people actually don't choose that. They don't actually value it. They don't. Money is really more for a lot of people about spending. It's about what they can spend and how much they have available to them to spend, rather than actually having it. And I was so grateful to get to have that chat with my kids, because I really value having those types of conversations with them, and teaching them, at an early age about this stuff. They both love money. They have a lot of fun with it. They love creating it, and they love spending it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the one thing that nobody really in this reality talks about: having money. When you have money, it should be used for something, right? You should be spending it on something, right? It should be earmarked for something. And what if you actually could just have it? If you could just have money just to have money, which is a totally new concept for, I know it was actually for me when I got exposed to the tools of Access Consciousness, the idea of having money just to have it, for the value of what that creates in your life. And so I started. There's a tool in Access Consciousness, the 10% account, which is an account where you actually put 10% of all the money that comes into your world. You put it into that account. And the entire purpose of the 10% account is so that you have money. It's not to put it away for a rainy day. It's not to save it so that you have a backup if, you, whatever, lose your job or your income changes or whatever. It really is actually to create an energy in your life of wealth and abundance and having. And a lot of people call the 10% account the having account, where it's this honoring of you and an acknowledgement that money is actually, there's value and joy in having money, which actually, it's funny, I didn't even really think about this when I decided to do this video. But tomorrow on my radio show, I'm going to be interviewing Curry Glassell on the topic of the joy of having money. And this is, if you follow me at all, you know I've been having lots of money conversations lately. Radio shows, Facebook Live events. We did a free call a couple days ago. I've got a couple money classes, one going on right now, one coming up next week. And it's something I've really been looking at and just demanding for myself of like, okay, I've created a lot of money in a lot of different ways. And what can I actually create more of? Like, what have I not actually chosen with money and wealth yet? That if I chose it, would create a lot of change and just create more in my world. So I was just so grateful to be able to have that chat with my kids tonight and to actually go, just because Adam Sandler is a movie star or a comedian or famous, just because he's famous and he might seem to be wealthy, it doesn't mean that he is. And he could be. Who knows? I don't know. It wasn't really about saying that he wasn't, but it was just, hey, just because somebody spends a lot of money doesn't mean that they have it. And so, and the thing is that one of the things that I've realized lately is that I've really valued what choice has created in my world. Like the tool of choice and access consciousness is a huge one. It really, for me, is sort of one of the biggest things that has changed my life from these tools, to actually know that choice is really a tool in my toolbox that I use all day long to create more, and that I don't ever have to know again how I'm going to create anything. I can just choose it. And there's so many things that I've chosen in regards to money and wealth and creation that I've created. And I did a video a couple days ago about how I created my house, and I chose my house, and I got created, and not in the way that I thought it would, which is pretty much always the case with choice and creation. It really doesn't ever show up like you think it's going to. But I did. And so anyway, if you want to watch that, it's on my page. I think maybe 2 days ago I made that video. But it really was about choice. And and when I've looked at I've chosen different things, like, and I have, so it's like, if I look at my money story, my money situation right now, like I have a lot of assets and I have some cash, and I haven't actually chosen lots and lots and lots of cash. I've chosen to invest my money in things, and there's no judgment there. There's no wrongness there. But recently I've been like, I think it'd actually be really fun to have a lot of cash. and it's funny to even say that, because the other piece that I've been so aware of is how judgeable the energy of wealth actually is in this reality for so many people. Like so many people, like, even just, I mean, I've actually really had to facilitate myself a lot to have so many public conversations about money and wealth and creating money and having money, and because it's such a charged topic, and it really isn't, like, it's much more acceptable to not have money than it is to have it in this reality. And so just something interesting to look at as a little bit of an aside, but like, is there anywhere that you've avoided having wealth, or the choice to have wealth, or the choice to have a lot of cash, or whatever it is that you'd like to have in regards to money and wealth? Is there any way that you've avoided it because it would like ostracize you from the people around you? People around you don't really know what to do. Like, or I don't know about the people around you, but I'll just say a lot of people don't know what to do with the energy of wealth and having money. And so to circle back to where I started with this, the choice for having money, it really is a choice to go beyond this reality with money and wealth, to actually have it for the sake of having it, not to spend it on anything, not to have it earmarked for anything. And certainly, wealth is not just about cash. Wealth, cash, and money are different things, they're different energies. And they all contribute to, the joy and the possibility that money can be. But wealth can include, like my house is part of my wealth, and the things that I have, just, gold, silver, jewelry, things like that, can all be part of of wealth, and so can cash. So it's not about one thing or another. And this is actually like, I never realized what a personal conversation this is. Like, it's really different for everybody. What is going to create more in your world? Like, is it an abundance of cash that's actually going to make you feel wealthy? Or is it having beautiful things? Or is it, like, not just beautiful, but valuable things that have intrinsic value? Is it owning land? Or, it's really different for everybody. So something that's just really great to look at for you is, what is it that would actually create the energy of wealth in your world? What is it that would create this sense of having? And it's been really cool for me to play with this in different ways, and to have a lot of cash, and then to use a lot of it for my house and other things, and have less cash, and just play with it all and go, what actually works for me? And I'm just finding out as I go along the way with the creation of more wealth and more cash, and actually, like, the choice for it. It's like, okay, now it feels really fun to create a lot of cash, and not in lieu of other things, but in addition to. And when I know that I have choice, and that choice creates, and that I can choose anything that I would like to have, and then just go about creating it by asking questions and making different choices and having new awareness. It's so cool. It's like, there's really nothing that's impossible if you're willing to use choice to the degree that you can actually use it. Like, if you're really willing to use it as a tool for creation, there isn't really anything that you can't create. It's just a question of, what are you willing to choose? And so just a fun thing that I've been looking at lately with my money stuff is like, what have I not chosen with money, wealth, cash, and receiving yet, that I could actually just choose and then go about creating it. Selena's asking how to do the 10% when just money to pay the bills or a little bit more. That's such a great question, and comes up a lot. And I know when I first started my 10% account, it was like, I was like, I don't have the extra. And this is actually like a key thing with these tools when it comes to money, or when it comes to anything, when it comes to choice. We think that we have to have, like, whatever it is that the choice is going to give us. Like, we think we actually have to have money in order to choose something. And this is something that excites me so much about the tool of choice and the access tools, is that that actually stops you from creating. It can really stop you from creating more. What if you don't have to have the money to choose something? What if you can choose it? Like my video from a couple days ago about my house, I didn't have the money for my house when I chose it. I mean, I even moved in here and I was renting it for a year and a half, and then I bought it. So I didn't have the money in my bank sitting there to buy my house. I created it, and I created it in a really different way than most real estate transactions actually get created. And but I was willing to stay in the question and choose, and just like play with magic and miracles. And the thing about the 10% account is that I've seen, like, for me, when I first started it, it was the same thing. It was like, well, I don't really have 10% extra, like, I only have the money that I have for my bills. But the thing is that there's probably a level of, this is the thing that I think is really very fascinating and cool and interesting and dynamic about how choice works as a tool for creation, when it comes to money and anything really. But if you look at money and you look at your money and you look at, so let me ask you this, like, what is it in your life that you know you will always have the money for? It might be a roof over your head. It might be food. It might be like somewhere to sleep. Like it's going to be different things for different people. Like there's a level of money that I know that I will always have. Like I will always create. I would never let myself go homeless. Like that's not a reality in my world. So it's going to be different things for different people. But the interesting thing is if you look at it and you look at, like when I started looking at that and I was like, there was no way I wasn't going to have my house. There was no way I wasn't going to have, like when I choose to take an access consciousness class, it's happening. Like I don't know how, and now it's like easier to create that. But in the beginning, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to create this, but I am, and I know I will, so there's just a demand in my world, and it might not be for you. It might not be classes. Like you might still be kind of going, how do I create money for classes, or how do I create whatever, like the money for the 10% account? But if it's something that you're actually truly choosing and that you actually truly desire, you will create it. It's the choice and the demand to create it that actually allows that to get created. So when I started doing my 10% account, I was like, I didn't have the point of view that I had the cash in my bank account every month to be able to do that with. But I made the demand to start doing it. And I've done it ever since. Lo and behold, like it was there. It was always there. And it was the same energy for me of, I'm not going to not feed my children. I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to go homeless. Just like the total demand and knowing in my world of like, I will create this. Absolutely, I will create this. So where is it that you've decided, like the cap on creation is for you when it comes to money and wealth? And what if you actually could, what if you could just blow the lid off of that, right? Like, and this is for me what I've looked at lately when like playing with having a lot more cash in my life, is I've never really made the demand to have a lot of cash. Like I've just made the demand for the money to show up to buy the house or the classes or the car or the whatever, and to have some cash in my account as well. But I haven't made the demand to have like a really, like when I've started to look at like what would be like a really fun amount of money to just have sitting in the bank, or sitting in a safe or whatever. I haven't actually chosen that yet. I am choosing it now. And I'm still looking at like what amount of money is that, and there's a lot of things that I'm doing to sort of have more clarity on that. Like, what is like really getting clear on my numbers and my, monthly expenses and income and all, like just looking at the numbers, which is a really important piece of this. Because if you don't know your numbers, you're not gonna know what to ask for, which is really very, very key, when it comes to choosing and asking for more. So with your 10% account, what if you made it a non-negotiable with you? It's like, I feed myself, I clothe myself, I buy toilet paper, I have a house, I have a 10% account, and it's just this like absolute non-negotiable in your world that's what you do, that's what you create. Like I don't think there has been a month, since I started my 10% account, maybe like one, I don't know, but I don't really think so, that I didn't actually put 10% in my account. And, and, it's just been this because I know what it creates. I know that if I have a 10% account and I put that money in there, I know that it's going to create more money. It's going to create more wealth, more receiving, more having. And the energy of that is the energy that I've been asking my life to show up as for a long time. And so to me, it's like, for me personally, it's been like, well, to not have a 10% account, is not really a wise choice for, it's not a match. Like if I chose to not do that, it would be like discordant in a way with what I say I'm asking for in my life, like to have more money, more cash, more wealth. To me, having a 10% account is a huge part of creating that. And it's actually when I choose that and I choose to honor me, there's a choice for creation and a choice for the energy of having money and the energy of wealth that is very different than like, if I have the extra, I'll stick it in there, maybe, because we all know how that goes. If I can afford that, trip around the world for 3 years, then I'll take it, right? Like, and the thing is, once you take the significance off of choice and off of amounts of money, or, if you're like, I'm choosing this thing for $5, and that feels really easy to you, but like 5,000 feels like totally beyond anything you've ever been willing to consider before. What if you took the significance off of everything that you're choosing and you just chose it? I had to do that with my house, and more on that again if you're just joining us in a video from 2 days ago. I did have to go, hey, it's just like it's just more digits. Like the house that I would like to buy just has more digits. It isn't like, it's only significant, it's only like harder to create that if I decide that that's the case. If I'm functioning from the universe has my back and I am co-creating my reality with the universe, then it will show up. I will create it. If I truly desire it, I will create it. And that's the thing that I really, if you take anything from this video, just start to look at that for you. Like what do you know that you will always create? And again, the food, the how, whatever it is, what do you know for sure that you will always create? And it literally might be like, I'll never run out of toilet paper. Like, you know what I mean? But that's okay. Like it's like the only thing that makes it less or more is the significance that we put on it, right? There's probably something in every single one of your lives that you will never let yourself go without. And so what if you just added some stuff to that list, right? Like you added the 10% account, you added a certain amount of, income every month, or you added a certain type of a home, or whatever it is that you would like to have. Maybe it's more travel. Maybe it's not having a home, maybe it's some more classes. Like really, what if you let that list of everything that you know that you will always create, what if you let it just grow and get like obnoxiously long? And that goes back to that piece that I was saying earlier about having wealth. That having wealth is really a choice to go beyond this reality when it comes to money. Having wealth it confuses people. When they're looking at somebody else that has wealth, it's like, it's confusing. There's judgments, there's projections, there's rejections, there's separations, there's expectations, there's, the people that are going to want money from you, the people that are going to think you're evil for having money or greedy for having money. There's so many stories that people place upon themselves and each other when it comes to money, and so many judgments. And I really get, the more that I look at this, particularly this wealth conversation, I get how very few people are actually willing to choose it, really. Very few people are actually willing to have wealth and to choose wealth and to be wealthy. And wealth doesn't actually just have to do with money, by the way. I have a whole radio show on that topic called The Wealth of Being. A to Zen.fm, A the number 2, Zen.fm. And you can also look on the radio page of my website, which is heathernichols.com/radio. But wealth doesn't actually, it's not just about money and cash and material things. Like, and actually, really, this piece that we were talking about, if you're just joining us, I recommend you go back when we're done and listen to the beginning, because there's some pieces in here. But if you know that you will create whatever you would like to create, you will create whatever you set out to create, and that you can, and you trust yourself with the great and powerful tool of choice and awareness and questions. If you know that, then that actually is the greatest wealth that there is. The greatest wealth that there is your capacity to create. And once you really get that you can create anything, everything changes. You're not gonna go homeless. You're not gonna be hungry. You're not gonna, like, not only that, but you're also not gonna, like, not, do all the things you'd like to do, have all the things you'd like to have, including lots of cash or whatever. You will have the knowing that you actually are the creator of your life. And actually, somebody was just saying that to me the other day, that, hi, oh, Celine, thank you, honey. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the way I talk about money and my willingness to change points of view and reality about it. To me, this is like, it's a huge piece. Money is actually one of the greatest sort of excuses for unconsciousness and anti-consciousness on the planet. It's not a reason for it by any means. Money is just an energy. And it can be a lot of possibility. It can be a lot of joy. It can be a lot of fun. But it is one of those things that people tend to really abuse each other with and around, and, the wars, and, like, there's just so much anti-consciousness that gets perpetrated because of the money stuff in the world. And to me, changing the world, we can't actually leave money out of that equation at all, like, at all. And it actually can be a very powerful way to change the money conversation in the world, is to, or to change consciousness, like to have more consciousness, is to change the money conversation. And I might be really in fantasy here, but I just really get, like, what would it be like if everybody in the world actually could, like, really trusted their capacity to create and had that sense of, like, the wealth of being, of, like, I got my own back, right? I got my own back. And not, I'm an island unto myself, but, like, I'm willing to choose whatever it takes. I'm willing to have whatever, like, I'm willing to truly give myself the gift of honoring me with money, honoring me with wealth, having whatever it is I'd like to have. It is a very different energy than the insanity of money on the planet. And what's so funny is that money is totally fabricated. It's an invention. Like, it's not even a real thing, and yet to be, to live in this reality is required, right? I mean, it's not required, but your body would probably be quite happy if you had plenty of money, because it really is a gift to our bodies. So it's just there's so much to it, and I guess that's why I'm a little obsessed with this topic right now. Like, I'm just having so much fun with it, and kind of coming out of the closet myself with, what do I actually know about this, and what am I willing to step into and create more of, and what conversations would I like to be having around the topic of money and wealth, that really aren't being had anywhere else in the world. And that's one thing that I love about Access Consciousness, is that we have conversations with this stuff that nobody else is having. And as a result, you actually, if you use these tools, you get to choose and create things that nobody else is having, including wealth. A slightly unpopular choice for a lot of people. And yet, what would be fun for you? What would be fun for you to actually just choose to create, to put on your list of, these are the things that I never go without. It might be like, I never go without, $50,000 in the bank or $1 million or 5 million, or it's like, it's all just numbers. So what would be fun for you to choose? What would be fun for you to create? And a lot of you guys know this, but I have a 6-month wealth creation intensive, really, called The New Reality with Money, that is coming up starting November 7th. And it's created, the one that I did, that we just finished, created a lot for people, a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of receiving, a lot more cash flows and money in the bank, and a lot less points of view around money and judgments around money. And so I'm starting another one November 7th. It's called The New Reality with Money, and it really is a deep dive exploration into the creation of wealth and money and having and cash and receiving, and in a way that would actually be quite, that would actually work for you and your reality, what's true for you and your reality with money and wealth and cash and receiving, and creating it. So that's what we do. That's what we do in that 6-month class. And we dive into everything, really, truly, all the tools, including looking at numbers and spreadsheets and bookkeeping and your accounts and private sessions. And it's really like it's a big choice. I just love having these conversations. So I'll keep doing them. I'll keep having them. And if you'd like to come and play in the class, it's open for 15 people, so it's not huge. We are filling up, and you can sign up at heathernichols.com/money. And really just, what if you could actually have the wealth of knowing that you can create anything that you truly choose? What if that could be your reality? And then it's just a question of, what would you like to choose? So thank you so much, everybody. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I love these chats and what we can create. So have a beautiful day, night, wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you again sometime soon. Bye.